I was lounging on the couch after a long day, scrolling mindlessly through my emails, when my phone buzzed with a new text. It was from Melina, my wife of 8 years. She rarely texted me anything more than grocery lists or reminders these days, so it immediately caught my attention. The preview showed an image, provocative, darkly lit, with a flash of bare skin. Curious, I opened the message. There she was, Melina, dressed in scarlet lingerie I had never seen before, hair tousled perfectly like it had been styled with care, lips painted in deep wine-red lipstick. She stood before a tall mirror in a hotel room I didn't recognize. Her body angled to showcase every curve, her expression one of smoldering desire. And beneath the photo? Can't stop thinking about last night. This one's for your eyes only, lover. Counting down until you're inside me again. Face blowing a kiss. I stared. Reread. Blinked several times. My chest tightened. I rubbed my eyes, hoping I was hallucinating. Maybe she'd meant that for me. A surprise. A little spark reignited after our rough patch. But deep down, I knew better. Melina didn't speak to me like that anymore. Not in months. We'd become polite roommates, not lovers. I texted back. Was this meant for me? Silence. 10 minutes. Then 20. I paced our living room, phone clutched in my palm like it was a weapon. My heart pounded with dread and confusion. Had she truly sent that to someone else? My wife? The woman who vowed forever to me? Finally, the response came. Haha, oops. Yes, babe, it was for you, grinning face with sweat, just playing around. Miss you. I knew that tone. Forced. Panicked. Trying to cover a mistake without admitting anything. She never called me babe. And the laughing emoji? She hated those. Said they were childish. She was lying. I didn't answer. I just sat down, staring at the image again. Everything screamed betrayal. The polished room, the suggestive message, the sheer confidence of the pose. This wasn't spontaneous. This was rehearsed. Practiced. For someone she trusted deeply. Someone who wasn't me. I opened our shared phone account online, something I hadn't done in years. The bill listed every call, every message, every timestamp. It took me 15 minutes to find a pattern. One number repeatedly popped up. Late evenings, weekends when she said she was with friends, entire hours she was supposedly running errands. I copied the number and saved it to my contacts under a new name. Unknown Snake. I stared at it, debating what to do. Anger pulsed through me, quick and sharp like electricity. I wanted answers. I deserved them. So, I texted him. Nice picture. She's married, by the way. To me. I hit send before I could hesitate. My hands were trembling, my mouth dry. Seconds passed. Then a response appeared. So quickly, it made my blood freeze. I know. And that's why it's more exciting. I stared at the screen, rereading his words over and over. He wasn't shocked. He wasn't apologizing. He wasn't even pretending. He knew I was her husband. And he didn't care. I swallowed a curse and typed, "Who the hell are you?" His reply? "Let's just say I'm someone closer than you think." I gritted my teeth, every nerve in my body screaming for retaliation. This wasn't some random fling she found online. This was calculated, deep, meaningful in a way that destroyed everything I thought I understood about her. I walked through the house in a daze. Her perfume lingered faintly on the staircase. Our wedding photo still hung in the hallway, smiling faces captured in a lie. Every shared memory, every kiss, every whispered promise, it all felt hollow now. Melina came home 2 hours later. "Hey babe," she called out cheerfully like nothing was wrong. She wore the same smile she gave the world, innocent, charming, deceitful. I met her at the door, expression unreadable. "How was your day?" she asked, brushing past me with her tote bag slung over one shoulder. "Fine," I said curtly. "Yours?" She shrugged. "Busy. Got coffee with Sandra. Stopped by the mall. Normal stuff." Lies. I nodded slowly, pretending to believe her. My eyes scanned her body. No shopping bags, no coffee cup, no receipt. Her alibi was as flimsy as tissue paper. She kissed my cheek and walked into the kitchen. I'm starving. Want pasta tonight? I didn't answer. I just stood there, watching her stir the sauce, humming to herself like she wasn't stabbing me in the heart with every second she pretended nothing had changed. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay awake beside her, the scent of her shampoo filling my nose, the sound of her breathing rhythmic and false. I wondered if she dreamed of him. Wondered if his hands had touched her in ways mine hadn't in years. Wondered if she ever thought about what would happen if I found out. Well, I had. And it wasn't over. I grabbed my phone again, staring at the number, unknown snake. I typed, "You wanted excitement? You've got it. Let's meet." This time, it was my turn to play the game. The message I sent to her lover sat unread for 20 minutes, which somehow felt like 20 years. I stared at my screen, barely blinking, adrenaline still rushing through my veins. When the reply finally came, it was infuriatingly casual. "Sure. Tomorrow. 9 p.m. Raven Lounge. Bring your appetite." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The fact that he was this bold told me everything I needed to know. He wasn't just some secret she hoped to keep tucked away in late-night messages. No, this guy thought he had already won. That I was too soft, too naive, too spineless to fight back. But he didn't know me. Not really. The next day was hell. Pretending. Smiling through gritted teeth while Melina made breakfast like our marriage hadn't just been reduced to ashes. She asked what I had planned for the evening. "Late meeting," I lied. "Big pitch." She kissed my cheek again, her affection now feeling like acid against my skin. "You've been working too hard," she said sweetly. "Maybe we should plan a weekend trip. Just the two of us." "Sounds nice," I replied, fully aware she was planning to sneak off with him this weekend. My words tasted like poison. I arrived at Raven Lounge early. It was dim, stylish, crawling with suits, expensive perfume, and whispered conversations. The kind of place people went when they wanted to be seen, but only by the right people. I picked a corner booth, facing the door, nerves tight in my gut like a coiled spring. At exactly 9 p.m., he walked in. Nathan. Of course. My best friend. My business partner. The man who toasted at my wedding, who helped me move houses, who held my mother's hand during her cancer treatment. The same man who now stood at the bar with a confident smirk, scanning the room until his eyes landed on me. He slid into the seat across from me like this was poker night. "I was wondering how long it'd take you to figure it out," he said, flagging down a waitress without breaking eye contact. "Scotch. Neat." My throat burned. "You're seriously going to sit there and act smug after what you've done?" Nathan tilted his head. "What I've done? She came to me, man. She said you were boring. That you were more married to your career than to her." "She told you that?" I asked, barely containing my rage. He nodded. "She said she tried. Said you'd checked out. I just stepped in." I clenched my fists under the table. "You've been sleeping with my wife. For how long?" He shrugged. 6 months. Give or take. Started casual. Then it got complicated. Complicated? I repeated, almost laughing. "You mean treacherous?" "Don't make this emotional," he said, sipping his drink like he hadn't just detonated my entire life. "You and I both know your marriage was dying. She needed passion. I provided it. You didn't just sleep with her," I said. "You conspired with her." Nathan raised a brow. "Conspired? Don't play dumb," I snapped. "You're my partner. And suddenly my wife's discussing confidential contracts with you? Company expansion plans? Bidding strategies? What, was pillow talk your espionage tactic?" He chuckled softly. "It wasn't hard. You keep your passwords on sticky notes, dude. Come on. Do you realize what you've done?" "I did exactly what any man would do," he said coolly. "She wanted me. I said yes. You just happened to be in the way." I stared at him, all warmth gone. "You crossed a line." One we can't come back from. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, voice low. Then walk away. You've got your company. Your money. Start over. Let me have her. The audacity of his words nearly broke me. Let you have her? I echoed, stunned. She's going to leave you anyway, he said. She's already half gone. And honestly, she deserves someone who wants her. The heat behind my eyes turned everything red. But I didn't lunge across the table. I didn't shout. I smiled. Enjoy it while it lasts, I said, calmly sliding out of the booth. Because I'm going to make sure she regrets ever touching you. He scoffed. You going to cry about it? I turned back just before leaving. No. I'm going to destroy you both. Quietly. I walked out of the lounge, my heart pounding, my jaw tight. My mind raced with a dozen ideas, each one darker than the last. I wasn't just dealing with a cheating wife. I was dealing with a parasite who'd wrapped himself around everything I built. My home. My company. My marriage. That night I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Instead, I opened every file I had access to at work. I combed through contracts, emails, vendor deals, anything Nathan had touched. I looked for cracks, discrepancies, paper trails. Then I backed everything up to a secure drive and changed all admin credentials. Step 1. Secure the empire. Step 2. Expose the queen and her jester. I wasn't the same man who had stared at that selfie 24 hours ago, confused and heartbroken. Now I was a man with a plan. I returned home just after midnight, the street quiet, lights in the window glowing with the false warmth of routine. Melina was curled up on the couch, eyes half closed as an old drama flickered on the TV. She looked up, stretching lazily, wearing one of my old hoodies, an image of innocence wrapped in betrayal. You're back late, she said, voice groggy. Meeting ran over, I replied, locking the door behind me. She stood and walked over, arms snaking around my waist. Missed you. I forced a smile. Missed you too. She kissed my jaw, lingered a second longer than usual, then pulled away to grab a glass of wine. I watched her every movement, how casual it all seemed, like our life wasn't a crumbling illusion. Her lies had become second nature. Weekend's coming up, she said, sipping her drink. Still want to do something? Maybe a cabin? My blood ran cold. She was testing if I'd take the bait. If I'd suggest a trip while she snuck off with Nathan. I played along. Sounds great. I'll book something remote, I lied smoothly. She smiled. Just the two of us. Like old times. I nodded. Exactly. Except this time, she wouldn't be coming back the same woman. Or at all, if things went how I planned. The next morning, while she showered, I went through her phone. I'd never done it before, not because I trusted her, but because I believed privacy mattered. I felt sick even holding it, but I had to know. Her passcode hadn't changed. I opened her messages. Dozens of texts. Not just to Nathan. There were others, flirtatious, vulgar, explicit. Names I didn't recognize. Photos too. Not just the one I saw, but a whole gallery of poses she'd carefully curated. Angles designed to seduce. Lingerie I'd never bought her. Hotel room selfies time-stamped when she told me she was visiting her mom. It wasn't just one affair. It wasn't even just Nathan. Melina had built a parallel life, one of secrets, masks, midnight rendezvous. I wasn't her partner anymore. I was her cover story. The background character in her erotic escapade. I felt my stomach twist with rage, but I stayed silent. Copied everything. Forwarded the messages, images, contacts, and timestamps to my private cloud. Evidence in case she tried to play the victim later. When she stepped out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, hair damp and clinging to her collarbone, I was sitting on the bed. Thinking of getting an early start today, I said casually. She smiled, towel slipping slightly. Work stuff again? Something like that. She sauntered over, kissed my cheek again. The same lips that had told other men I need you inside me. I felt nothing. At the office, I launched Phase 2. Nathan's office was dark when I stepped inside, but his laptop, lazy as always, was left unlocked. His arrogance was a gift. I combed through project files, pulling copies of anything he'd worked on, and flagged the ones he plagiarized from competitors. He wasn't just a backstabbing friend, he was dirty, sloppy, fraudulent. By noon, I'd gathered enough evidence to make the board question his ethics. By 2 p.m., I had drafted a formal complaint, complete with a side packet marked confidential, for internal investigation only. I sent it anonymously through legal channels. Then came Phase 3, the unraveling. That evening, Melina got another message, one that looked just like the kind she'd sent to Nathan. Steamy, seductive, anonymous. I crafted it carefully, made it irresistible. Hooked her the way she had hooked others. She replied immediately. "Who is this?" I didn't answer. I let her curiosity bloom. 3 hours later, another message. "How did you get that picture?" I sent another. One of her from a different night. Then another. By the next morning, she was panicking. "Something weird's happening," she told me over breakfast, eyes darting toward her phone. "I think someone got into my stuff." "Like hacked?" I asked innocently, sipping my coffee. "I don't know," she murmured. "But I'm getting messages. Pictures of me. Ones I never sent you." "Oh." She stared at me. "You didn't go through my phone, did you?" I shook my head. "Nope. Why should I have?" Her mouth opened, closed, then she looked away. "Forget it." I almost laughed. The queen of manipulation, suddenly unsure how to handle a ghost haunting her lies. By afternoon, HR summoned Nathan. He walked into the office smug as ever. He left pale and silent. I watched from my desk, expression blank as security escorted him down the hallway. An hour later, I received an official memo. Nathan was suspended pending investigation for breach of trust, intellectual property theft, and ethics violations. It was everything I wanted, and it was just the beginning. At home, Melina had become anxious, withdrawn. She jumped every time her phone vibrated. I could see the cracks forming. She no longer hummed while cooking. She no longer kissed my cheek. She watched me now, like I was the one hiding something. Funny how quickly guilt flips the game. By Saturday, her whole demeanor changed. "Can we talk?" she asked quietly over breakfast. I nodded. "Of course." She hesitated. I feel like we've been distant." "You think?" Her lip trembled. "I want to fix things. Maybe I've been distracted lately. I know I haven't been the best version of myself." "The best version of yourself is a stranger," I wanted to say. Instead, I reached across the table, placing my hand over hers. "Let's go away this weekend," I said. "Just the two of us. I already booked the cabin." A flash of relief crossed her face. "You did?" I smiled. "We leave in the morning." She had no idea what I had planned. No clue that the picturesque mountains and quiet woods would serve as the stage where every dirty truth would be exposed. No more shadows. No more lies. Just her. Me. And the reckoning she never saw coming. Sunday morning arrived beneath a muted sky, clouds heavy like my mood. Melina packed light, just one overnight bag and a thick coat she hadn't worn since our trip to Aspen. She smiled at me as I loaded the trunk, that same seductive smile she used to disarm every fool she'd lured behind my back. She didn't know this would be her last day as my wife. We drove for hours, winding roads cutting through towering pines, radio humming soft jazz as if nothing was fractured. Melina hummed along, occasionally placing her hand on my thigh, pretending nothing had changed. But everything had. Especially me. By the time we reached the cabin, a secluded, elegant two-story nestled between jagged cliffs and frost-bitten woods, her excitement bubbled over. "This place is perfect," she exclaimed, stepping inside, spinning around like a giddy girl. "God, I've missed us." I followed her inside slowly, each step heavy. "Glad you like it." Inside, the fireplace was already prepped. I lit it, the flames casting gold shadows over the wooden floor. She lit candles next, pouring wine, setting out the charcuterie she'd brought like we were starring in a romantic weekend getaway ad. But I wasn't here to love her. I was here to finish her. We sat beside the fire. She curled into me, her voice low. I've been feeling watched lately. Like someone knows something. It's probably nothing. But it's not nothing. Her breath caught. What? I turned to her, wine glass untouched. You're being watched, Melina. You're not paranoid. You're exposed. She pulled away slightly. What are you talking about? You sent the wrong picture, I said, calm but lethal. Remember that little steamy selfie last week? It didn't go to Nathan. Her face went pale. It went to me. Silence. Utter, consuming silence. Then, shakily, that wasn't meant for you. I was trying to delete. Don't insult me, I cut her off. You sent it to the man you've been screwing behind my back for half a year. Except you got sloppy. And that mistake was your undoing. Tears welled in her eyes. I can explain. No. You can't. I stood, retrieved a manila envelope from my bag, and tossed it into her lap. She flinched as if it were a grenade. Inside, printed screenshots of every message. Photos, names, hotel receipts, conversations, even voice memos. Every lie she ever whispered into someone else's ear while claiming to love me. She flipped through them, trembling. Her tears came fast now, dripping onto her lap. Please, this doesn't mean I didn't love you. You didn't love me, I said flatly. You loved attention. You loved lust. You loved options. I was your safety net. Nathan was your thrill. And the others? I laughed bitterly. Were they just fillers? She buried her face in her hands. I don't know why I did it. I thought I needed more. I thought you wouldn't care. That's the part that stings most, I whispered. You thought I'd never find out. That I'd just keep working late, coming home to your fake smiles and cold sheets. I never wanted to hurt you, she said weakly. But you did. Over and over. I looked down at her, the woman I'd once thought was my forever. I gave you everything. Time, trust, 10 years of my life. And you gave me disease, shame, and betrayal. She shook her head frantically. I never cheated without protection. I swear. Oh, so I should thank you? I snapped. For keeping your treachery safe? Silence again. Then I softened, just slightly. Here's the thing, Melina. I'm not just leaving you. I'm erasing you. Her eyes shot up. What do you mean? I filed for divorce 2 days ago. My attorney sent everything via express courier. You'll receive the papers tomorrow. She gasped. You're divorcing me now? Just like that. I've already moved the money. The house? In my name. The company? Secured. Your credit cards? Cut. The car? Towed by morning. You'll go back to your maiden name, move into whatever you can afford with your Instagram modeling gigs, and maybe, just maybe, learn who you really are. She sat there, broken. But I wasn't done. Also, I added, voice icy, Nathan? Fired. Investigated. His name is poison in the industry now. He won't touch a corner office for the rest of his life. Her eyes widened in horror. You? Yes. I destroyed the both of you. Quietly. Methodically. You wanted passion, Melina? This is mine. Retribution. She tried to reach out. Please don't do this. I can change. I will change. I stepped back. You had years to change. You chose pleasure over partnership. Fantasy over loyalty. She collapsed to the floor, sobbing. A part of me wanted to comfort her, to pull her into my arms and pretend none of this ever happened. But that part was dead. I walked out of the cabin into the crisp air, the pines whispering around me. My breath clouded in front of me like smoke from a life burned to the ground. By the time I reached the car, I felt weightless. I didn't look back. And I never saw her again. Not in person, anyway. A year later, I heard she was working at a boutique on the edge of town. Her social media went silent. The spotlight she craved had dimmed. Her friends vanished. Nathan moved to another state, changed industries, and still couldn't find work. As for me, I rebuilt. I traveled. I met someone honest. Someone who didn't need lies to feel alive. Sometimes, destruction clears the ground for something beautiful to grow. And Melina's steamy selfie? It lit the fire that burned away every illusion. Best mistake she ever made.